Alright. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the East Texas Trucker channel. This is going to be my first YouTube video. Hopefully going to do some more after this one. Real quick about me. Or real quick, a little bit about me. I'm 23 years old. I've had my CDL about a year. Been driving trucks for a little over a year. I just finished my first year at Swift, and I just want to talk to you guys about the whole experience and you know, how it was for me, and hopefully I can provide some tips and some insights to some of you newer guys before you start there, or maybe scare you away, but hopefully not. Some of you older guys, this will probably just be humorous to hear about. So I started last February at Swift's training academy. So I didn't have any CDL at the time. I just got my permit beforehand, and then I went to their 3-week training academy in Corsicana. It was a pretty good school, all things considered. I had a pretty good instructor there, but it's pretty bare bones. They're not trying to sell you short or anything, but it is just a CDL school. They just want to get you your CDL and get you in a truck and make them money, because at the end of the day, that's what you're there for, right? So don't expect them to teach you how to be a great truck driver. That's not going to happen at the CDL school. You may get that later on with your mentor, but that's another iffy thing. So I literally got my CDL the day before the offices closed in Texas. So I got pretty fortunate with that. Went out with my mentor for about 6 to 7 weeks. Got in my own truck in May, and I ran Solo OTR with them until March of this year, 2021. So solid 10 months. And I kind of that last month and a half, I started looking for other places, checking out what other opportunities I had. But I did want to touch on, I kind of networked a little bit while I was at trucking school, or CDL school at Swift. Kept in touch with some of the guys I met there, and most of them had pretty negative experiences with their mentors, the ones that I talked to. So I don't know what that really says about the company. That's not a good look, I don't think. I feel like I got a really good one. You're still living the truck for whatever, 4 to 6 weeks with another person. You're gonna have your spats. You're not gonna agree on everything. That's just part of it. And I'm still friends with my mentor to this day. We still talk. He still helps me out with some things because he's been in the business a lot longer than I have. And I think that's part of the problem of why some people I talked to had pretty bad mentors, because Swift, they start people. You can be a mentor with 6 months experience, and that's just crazy to me, man. Like, after I finished 6 months, I was like, there's no way I can prepare somebody to be a truck driver. Right? I'm still figuring things out myself. Like, you could even got through your 6 months, you've never experienced a winter, and now you're supposed to be training somebody on your truck, and you've never been through winter, they haven't been through winter, they're driving the truck through winter weather, snow, ice, whatever, and they don't know what to do, and they turn to you. You have no clue what to do either. It's your first time. Like, that's just a scary scenario, man. That would not make me feel good if I was training with somebody like that. So I decided I wanted to leave Swift. Um, I mean, I was pretty, like, I knew the earliest I would leave was like a year. Like, as soon as I'm done paying off my school. So that's, forgot to mention, that's how they do it now, is they value their CDL school at about $6,500 or something like that. But you don't have to pay it up front. It's about 3,000. It's just half of that, like $3,500, something like that, $3,700. If you stay for them a year, they take a cut out of it, your paycheck each pay period, and then they reimburse you for half of it as you go along. So if you've been with them a year, you'll pay it off, and you only paid half of that initial value, so something like $3,700, which isn't terrible, you know, since you're not having to pay it up front. But yeah, back to why I wanted to leave. I knew I wanted to leave potentially as soon as my year was up, because I'm sure you've heard from other sources, from other drivers, you are worth a lot of money. You are valuable once you've got your year of experience under your belt. Companies will pay you to do the work more than you can make at Swift. If you look, you spend the time, find some places, talk to people, it's out there. I guarantee you. That's what I did. I found it. Now you may have to look a little bit, you have to search, but that's, you know, I'd say it's worth it. I was making pretty decent money my first 4 months, 5 months maybe. Once we got into like Thanksgiving of last year, my pay really started to go down. You know, that's to be expected. I think part of the winter weather, you're not going to be able to run as hard. Weather's going to get in your way more often. But at the end of the day, you know, you just got to make the money, and I just was keeping that in mind. You know, I think my best week at Swift was like September last year. I think I grossed like $2,000, and then only got $1,400 of that because, you know, you got your loan, your benefits, taxes, and all that stuff coming out of your check. So I'd say if you averaged all of my paychecks for the year that I was there, I averaged about $850 a week, which is not bad. Coming from the point of view, you have no CDL getting into the business, and, you know, if you're my age, especially, you're younger, you don't have family and kids to feed, $850 a week is not bad, man. So once I got to, you know, this year, I started looking. They had any dedicated accounts I could get on near my house to get home more often, to make more consistent money, because it was getting real inconsistent there. Last winter, or in the last year, start of this year, just real up and down, man. Just some days, just some weeks, just not getting the miles. You know, having to sit on loads, like, just stuff that's out of your control. Just, you know, it frustrates you. So I'll talk. I won't go too much into it right now about the company I'm at right now, but I've been with them now about 2.5, 3 weeks, and it's going really well. A lot more money. It's dedicated. I'm home every weekend, and I'm in a better truck. And yeah, it's all around better. So For those of y'all out there that are still grinding your year or whatever, you're at a mega carrier and you're putting in your time, I'm telling you, it's worth it. Okay. Uh, so I want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of Swift. So this is going to be kind of the review portion of the video. Why you should consider Swift or why you shouldn't. You know, what's good about them, what is bad. And we've all heard the jokes and whatnot about Swift, best in crash and all that. But 2021 Swift has definitely got some positives to it if you haven't looked into it. And a lot has changed in the last year since I started there. Some good, some bad. So, obviously, you get your CDL, and they pay the cost up front. They'll pay for your hotel, you're at school. They'll get you your CDL. They'll get you in a truck. They will, you'll get miles. You're never not going to get any miles, but, you're going to get some. There's a huge network of terminals, so you can get hired into Swift pretty much anywhere in the United States, and there's probably a terminal near you to get home consistently. So as far as the pay goes, I'd say the pay for a starter company is not bad. Pretty good for a starter company. Back when I started last January, February, they were saying you were going to start out at 37 cents a mile, which at the time it was pretty standard. I think most mega carriers, Snyder, Werner, Stevens Transport, JB Hunt, a lot of those truck or companies started right in that range. If you had no experience and they got you CDL. And then right as I got out of school, I got in a truck. They started a new sliding pay scale thing, which I think had something to do with the Knight Swift merger that happened. And so pretty soon after, I started getting a little bit of raises, little cent per mile raises. And when I was at the 3-month mark, I was making 41 cents a mile. So definitely in the pretty good range if you've got no experience. And by the time I got to the 6-month mark, I was at 45 to 47 cents per mile, and so it would vary depending on the load. I'm not sure what metrics that was on, but that is really decent for a starter company to be making that. I know. Oh yeah, CR England, another one. I know pretty much all those other mega carriers don't compete with that as far as starting out and getting up to that level, unless you get on a dedicated account. And then also, starting 2021, this year, they started a new bonus program where you get bonus cents per mile every month, paid retroactively on all the miles you drive, based on a few different things. So you have your smart drive cam score, your fuel mileage. You stay depends on what account you're on, but generally like 7.5 miles per gallon. You stay above that, you'll get another cent. What was the other one? Anyway, they had a few different metrics, but you can earn up to 6 cents per mile retroactively every month on your paycheck, which is not bad. So theoretically, you get to your 6-month mark, you can be making 51 to 53 cents per mile every month, provided you meet that bonus. Now, we'll get into later why that is kind of an inconsistent thing to rely on, the way the system works. But that's still pretty damn good. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Now this may be redundant. Maybe y'all may already know this, but they reimburse for all job-related expenses: scales, coolant, straps, load locks. Now, I mean, that's pretty basic stuff. Um, Occasionally, they'll pay for you to do they'll reimburse you for a motel, doing a 34. Like sometimes you're in a place that's real cold or real hot, or it's just not a very like good area to just be sitting and doing a 34 in. Now, maybe that was just something that I experienced with my driver manager, but at minimum you can at least ask. It's a mega carrier. They're not going to let any old equipment sit in rotation. They're going to rotate everything out before it gets older than 4 years old, and before it hits 450,000 miles. It's kind of the demarcation. Like, I started out with a 2017 Freightliner, had like 380,000 miles on it when I started. And I put probably 60,000 miles on it, and they got me in a new truck. They got Freightliners, Volvos, Internationals, KWs, and they're all pretty equal distribution, I'd say, on those. Alright. Let's see what's our next one. They got a lot of different contracts and freight available. I mean, this is kind of redundant to, they're always going to keep you moving kind of thing. But they got freight all over the country. You'll notice that. You'll see some bigger names that you'll be hauling for. Georgia Pacific, Kimberly Clark is a really common one. So having access to that'll keep you moving a lot of times. They have dedicated accounts available all over the country. Depends on where you live, obviously, what's available to you. So depending on where you live, there is some really good money accounts available through Swift. And honestly, there was a few that if I happened to live in those areas near those, I might have stayed at Swift. Might. Because some of those lanes are real good. Like, there's an account, I forget what the company was, but they would go from Kansas City down to Fort Worth and back. Just up and down 35, 520 miles, there and back, there and back. And you're home every week, and that's just money, man. Like, it might be boring, but that's money. All day. So, if y'all live in Fort Worth or Kansas City, you might want to check that out. If you're at Swift. Oh yeah, so this one kind of sucked for me. They do have a pet policy. They do have a rider policy. But they don't allow cats. This might be a very small crowd I'm talking to right here, but they allow dogs, but they don't allow cats. I don't know, don't make a whole lot of sense to me personally. I feel like cats are more suited to the lifestyle, but I had to leave my cat at home until I got to the new company I was at now. Next thing, the camera system. So they do run smart drive cameras in the trucks. Those are getting pretty common nowadays. Most companies run smart drive, I think, now. And there is no inward facing camera. They will, however, record audio of you. So if there's ever any kind of recording, from the camera. It's going to record what you say, what you're listening to. So just keep that in mind. I know one of the times it recorded me saying some choice words for a truck in front of me. Caught a pretty good rant. But they don't really care too much about that, in my experience, unless you're really seeing some, crazy things. Now some cons as to why I would not suggest Swift. Hold on. I gotta get me some water. Man, it's getting hot in here. Alright. Right. So why should you not go to Swift? There's definitely plenty of reasons to not go there. And this first one is probably one of the main reasons why I ended up leaving. And that is that they plan their loads for the OTR pretty much like you're a 0 to 3 month driver, experienced driver, the whole time you're there. I can tell you how many times that I would take a load, I would run my clock out the whole time, like run my clock well, how you're supposed to if you're taught right. And I have to sit, 8, 10, 12, 24 hours sometimes just to wait for the appointment window. Now, I can understand that from time to time, but when it's on a regular basis, like every week, and you're just losing money. It's burning money right there. And it gets real frustrating. I don't like to sit. I get real anxious, and I just like to keep running. And that gets real frustrating over time. So, if you've been there, if you're a driver there right now, you probably noticed that as well. This next one is another major reason why I ended up leaving, and that is the Smart Drive system. Now, Smart Drive itself, it's fine. It's great. It's a great tool. Now, the way Swift uses it is where I have some frustrations with, some qualms with. And they use that system to grade you essentially, and it's using the bonus system like I was describing earlier. And they are watching it, and the driver manager that you have will talk to you, if not daily, every other day, about what's showing up in your drive cam, if you have anything showing up. Even if you don't, they're gonna continue to tell you to watch your following distance, drive speed for conditions, and whatnot. But they do not play around, man. I'm telling you. With following distance stuff, if you have a Freightliner, it'll tell you, how many seconds behind the vehicle you are. And my DM told me that anything under 4 seconds, that camera is going to turn on, and it's going to start recording. And if you don't slow down, if you don't get back, you're going to get a drive cam. Now, will they call and talk to you about it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's going to score you. And so that's the thing now, is they keep an active score from your Smart Drive camera, determining whether you get a bonus. If you're, consistently driving a little bit over the speed, if you're consistently maybe, on that following distance a little too close, 3.5 seconds, you're going to start seeing your points piling up, and you're not going to get that bonus. And to me, it's just real frustrating getting told how to drive and whatnot by these people that never been in a truck before. And telling you, oh, if a car gets in front of you, you need to slow down by 10 to 15 miles an hour and whatnot. I'm like, man, if we did that, no one would ever get anywhere, and there'd probably be a lot more accidents. That's all I'm gonna say. But I never complained really about it too much, but I definitely kept that in mind, the way that they use that smart drive, and it ultimately ended up being the reason why I decided to leave. Now, for me, I noticed a distinct difference of how they utilize that system when I went, or when 2021 started, and when they started that new bonus system. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, they started doing this thing where they want you to call in every day about your weather conditions and what's the weather like and all that. No, not, just check the weather yourself and be mindful of it. They want to record that you called in, or they're going to call you and ask you how the weather is and expect you to be able to tell them what it's like. And I might be exaggerating here a little bit, but I swear, man, it was like if there was a cloud in the sky, or if there was any prediction of drizzle, it was drive speed for conditions, drive 55 if there's rain, kind of thing. Like, man, once you've been on the road for, I understand that kind of thing is great if you just started, you only got a few months experience. But once you've been on the road for a while, you learn these things, and you don't need to be babied. But that's how they do it. They got to manage everybody. So it's little things like that just kind of piled up and were annoying me. What else is there? Most people already know this, but Swift governs their trucks 63 on the pedal, 65 on the cruise. I think now, if you've been there for a little bit, you can get your truck turned up to 68, but it's pretty rare. I've seen that. If you're lease operator or owner op, I believe you get to go 67 or 68, something like that. The trucks themselves are pretty bare bones. They're nice. They're new trucks, but they don't have any options in them, basically. In fact, here in the last few years, they actually decided to cut out the option for airbag dump. So you got a trailer that's real low, you got to pick up, well, you don't got an airbag dump no more. You got to get out there and crank it up if you can't get under it. Which, if you're hauling paper or anything heavy, that gets old real quick. And it happened to me a lot. Really frustrating. Just a quality of life thing that it's not that expensive. It's like $500,000 to have that in the truck. And I mean, come on, man. Like, really. They don't have APUs in their trucks. You're going to have to idle the truck if it's hot, if it's cold. And they monitor that. They monitor your idle percentage. That's another thing that they're going to be tracking. If you're idling too long, they're going to call you. Now, if you keep it under control, there's like they adjust the percentage based on the weather and where you're at. But that's another thing that you gotta be watching. Getting your truck into the shop for service it can be frustrating. If you just got a A or B inspection, you can usually get in and out the same day. It might take a while. It depends on the terminal. That's the other thing. It depends on what home terminal you have on those kind of things. Now, my home terminal was Lancaster. Nice terminal. In fact, they just finished renovating it. So, bigger shop, you know, but they're also busy. They got a lot of drivers out of that terminal. Uh, Getting your truck serviced, it can take a while sometimes. Um, I think every time that I had anything more to do than a service, get a part replaced, whatnot, it took over a day. And, but that's kind of just part of trucking. Next thing, this is just a part of life. You're new. This is probably going to happen to an extent anywhere. But at Swift, you just have a big old banner written across your truck that says, "Hey everybody, look at me. You know, see what I'm going to mess up today," or whatever. Uh, you've got a target painted on your back. So if you mess up, best be ready. Everybody is ready to point their finger at you and laugh. So keep that in mind. Be on your best behavior wherever you're at, because people already don't have a good idea about you a lot of times. If you have a CB radio, you listen in, people are probably making fun of your ass sometimes, depending on where you're rolling. So, you got to have a thick skin for some of those things. People are not always going to have give you the benefit of the doubt. So you got to make a good first impression. E-logs. They use the second gen Qualcomms, I believe. Pretty much the same Qualcomm, I think, that everyone uses. There might be a different one, but there's some great things about Qualcomm. If you know how to use the macros, you can be pretty efficient with it. But it is getting pretty old now. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but it still runs on Windows XP, which is over 20-year-old software now. So, also, I don't know if you guys have ever used Qualcomm, but it likes to reset and update or whatever, clear the memory or something twice, sometimes 3 times a day, while you're driving, mind you. You got your navigation open, and let's say you're 5 miles from the shipper. It might just decide to update, and that thing takes 10 minutes, and you've lost your navigation. Now, some of y'all are going to say, oh, you should always have a second means of navigation, but I'm telling you, it's still frustrating while you're driving. You lose it. And it's going to happen, so just be ready. There is a bit of a problem with trailers and the condition of trailers. You're picking up empties, you're picking up a load. Sometimes they'll have a flat tire, a mud flap missing, airlines that are leaky, trailer doors that just don't want to shut. They are they're getting new trailers and everything, but they have a massive trailer network, and they don't have the best way of keeping up with them sometimes. And like some of these warehouses you go to, and it just seems like every trailer there is just awful shape, and you just got to pick the best one, the ones you can find. And that can just be really frustrating because you're just set up to fail. You're just set up, if a DOT pulls you over, it's like, what are you gonna do? So, and also in that same vein, finding an empty trailer can be difficult sometimes, because a lot of the times dispatch is not going to tell you exactly what empty you got to pick up. They just say find an empty, or they'll give you a list. But that's just kind of a general problem with trucking as well. Some companies do it better than others, but it's kind of just a general struggle all around. So overall, I'd say Swift is a good mega carrier starter company to go with if you have between 0 and 3 months of experience. You have no CDL, you're looking for a company to go to get your experience in, get your start in the trucking industry. It's not a bad place to go, man, I'll tell you. And especially if you're new, you don't necessarily know all the things that or what some people would say would be bad. They're not going to bother you when you're new as much. Like when I first started, you know, some things didn't bother me because I was so new. I understood that I was new and I just needed to get through it. But once you get some experience, some of those things start to get on your nerves. And that's what I'm going to say. If you got 6 or more months of experience, I would just say there's better options for you out there. There's other companies that start hiring right around the 6 months experience mark that pay significantly more, and you're not going to have to deal with some of the problems that you would at Swift. And don't get me wrong, it's not a horrible company. If you have 6 months experience and you go with Swift, you're not going to hate life generally. It's pretty decent. So right. So anyway, this is my first video for this channel, and I just figured it would be a good topic to cover to kind of start things out. I am looking to do more videos. If you have any ideas or suggestions for videos for me to do, any topics you'd like me to talk about, I know I'm not the most experienced driver out here, so there's some things I'm probably not going to have much to say on. So I just ain't been out here as long as some of you guys. So, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Any suggestions, what you think. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. And I'm not going to be the fastest uploader like some of you other truck drivers know who make videos. There ain't a lot of downtime for you to make videos and whatnot. So you know, you just got to find the time, make time. But I want to give a couple shout outs to the guys that helped me along the way, that helped me get into the trucking industry, that helped me as I was getting through it, get through the challenges that we all face in this industry, and especially for us new guys who are trying to figure things out. First, I'm going to shout out Clutch Trucker. He's a funny dude. He posts a lot of regular videos. He does like vlog style videos. But he's also got a lot of good tips, and just, he's a good dude. Definitely check him out. Next one, Cash is King. Another funny dude. Lots of good advice, lots of insights on the industry. He's been trucking for a long time. He's been around the block. He's seen some things. And he also does pretty regular live streams. So he's pretty good, what you call edutainment, as he calls it. Definitely check him out. Lots of good videos for us new guys. Another one, some of y'all may have heard of him, BOC Enterprises. This dude, he has been around the block as well. He has the famous How to Be a Truck Driver or How to Be an Owner-Operator series. Lots of good advice there for anybody, no matter how much experience you have. Definitely check that out. Also, he's hilarious. But his advice definitely got me through some pinches. So, and lastly, but not least, DIY Semi. DIY Semi, he is, I like to say, the Stephen Hawking of trucking. He's got so many tutorial videos, working on trucks, how to do it yourself, you know, how to fix something yourself. He has a lot of knowledge of the industry. He's been in the industry for years, and he also has a lot of knowledge about freight and how freight moves, how it works. And if you're an owner-op and you need to better understand that, that is the place to go. That's all I got to say, really. I'm excited about this this new channel. I'm definitely looking forward to putting out more videos. And yeah, thanks for checking me out. Keep the shiny side up, rubber side down, y'all. Peace.